The drama surrounding Luis Neri was never confined to the ropes. It lived in memory, in bitterness, in a sense of national insult that refused to fade with time. For Japanese boxing fans, his name became synonymous with injustice. A reminder of a moment when honor was stolen in plain sight and a beloved champion was robbed of the ending he deserved. Long before Naoya Inoue ever faced him, Neri had already become a villain in Japan's sporting conscience. When fate finally brought him back, it was never going to be about titles alone. It was about reckoning. To understand why the atmosphere inside the Tokyo Dome felt more like a trial than a championship bout, you have to go back to Shinsuke Yamanaka. Calm, disciplined, and relentlessly consistent, Yamanaka was everything Japanese boxing admired in a champion. When Luis Neri arrived in 2017 to challenge him, there was excitement, but also confidence. Yamanaka had ruled his division with quiet authority. What followed shocked the nation. Neri tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs and still brutalized Yamanaka in the ring, forcing a stoppage that left the Japanese icon battered and broken. The celebration that followed felt obscene, especially once the failed drug test became public. The wind stood, but the stain did not wash away. The rematch was supposed to bring closure. Instead, it deepened the wound. Neri returned to Japan overweight by 3 pounds, an unforgivable margin at the championship level. Despite the advantage, the fight went ahead. Once again, Yamanaka was beaten, this time amid clear fouls and roughhouse tactics that bordered on contempt for the rules. When it ended, Yamanaka retired. His career was over, not because his spirit failed him, but because boxing had. Neri celebrated wildly, taunting, smiling, showing no respect to the fallen legend or the country that had hosted him. In that moment, Japan turned its back on him completely. He was banned from the country, suspended, and effectively erased from its boxing world. But boxing has a cruel sense of symmetry. While Neri drifted on with his career elsewhere, Naoya Inoue was rising. Quietly at first, then violently, he tore through divisions with a precision that bordered on surgical. Opponents didn't just lose to him. They were dismantled piece by piece. By the time he reached super bantamweight and claimed undisputed status, Inoue was no longer just a champion. He was a phenomenon. A fighter whose speed, timing, and power combined into something terrifyingly efficient. And when the announcement came that Luis Neri would return to Japan to challenge him, the meaning was unmistakable. This was not redemption. This was judgment. May 2024 brought the fight everyone had been waiting for. The Tokyo Dome filled with 50,000 people, each one carrying years of resentment into their seat. Neri's ban was lifted for a single night, not as an act of mercy, but to give the crowd what it wanted: revenge. As Neri made his walk, the hostility was overwhelming. Boos drowned out the introductions. Middle fingers were raised. The message was clear. He was not welcome, and he was not forgiven. Yet beneath the hatred was unease. Luis Neri was dangerous. 35 wins, a savage left hand, and an 80% knockout ratio meant he was no sacrificial lamb. He was a live threat, and that made the stakes even higher. Inoue wasn't just fighting for his belts. He was fighting with the weight of expectation, the burden of national pride, and the responsibility of delivering justice without slipping into chaos. The opening moments were tense and sharp. Inoue looked focused, measured, snapping punches with his trademark accuracy. Neri charged forward, aggressive and defiant, refusing to be intimidated by the setting or the hostility. Then, in a moment that stunned the dome into silence, it happened. A huge left hook from Neri landed clean. Naoya Inoue went down. The monster, unbeaten and seemingly untouchable, was on the canvas for the first time in his career. For a heartbeat, panic swept through the arena. This was the nightmare scenario. The villain had struck, and history threatened to repeat itself. Neri surged forward, believing, feeding off the moment. He threw everything he had, trying to overwhelm Inoue before the champion could recover. It was the most dangerous moment of the fight, and perhaps of Inoue's career. But greatness reveals itself under pressure. Inoue arose with calm in his eyes and steel in his posture. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He adjusted. The storm passed, and the hunter became the hunted. In the second round, Neri lunged forward, overcommitting on his attacks, and Inoue read it perfectly. A sharp left hook caught Neri mid-motion and sent him crashing to the canvas. The dome erupted. The scales had been balanced. From there, the fight took on a different rhythm. Inoue began to see everything. His footwork sharpened, his counters landed with increasing authority, and Neri's aggression became a liability. Each lunge was met with punishment. Each exchange ended with Neri absorbing clean, concussive shots. The monster wasn't just winning rounds. He was stripping away Neri's confidence. By the third and fourth rounds, the transformation was complete. Inoue slipped punches, as if he were operating one step ahead of time itself. His combinations flowed effortlessly, headshots setting up brutal attacks to the body. Neri tried to adapt, tried to change levels, but his habits betrayed him. When the pressure mounted, he reverted to old tricks, complaining to the referee using his head on the inside, trying to bend the rules once more. It didn't save him. The fifth round felt like the beginning of the end. Inoue increased the power behind his punches, sitting down on shots that echoed through the dome. A short left hook dropped Neri again, his legs betraying him as he struggled to rise. He made it to his feet, but the look in his eyes had changed. The bravado was gone. The belief was fading. In the sixth, Inoue closed the distance with chilling patience. He probed with jabs, drew reactions, and then unleashed hell. An uppercut snapped Neri's head back, followed by a crushing right hand that folded him completely. Neri collapsed, unable to answer the count. The referee waved it off. The fight was over. The eruption inside the Tokyo Dome was unlike anything seen before. This wasn't just celebration. It was release. Years of anger, frustration, and unresolved grief poured out in one deafening roar. In 6 rounds, Naoya Inoue had delivered exactly what Japan wanted. Neri was dropped 3 times, dominated, and finished. Justice had finally arrived. After the fight, Inoue admitted that Neri's past motivated him. He knew what Neri represented to Japanese fans, and he embraced that responsibility. But that is the frightening thing about Inoue. He does not fight with rage alone. He fights with clarity. Revenge did not make him reckless. It made him precise. Just months later, Inoue returned against TJ Tahini, a man many considered the most dangerous puncher in the division. Tahini had earned his shot the hard way, winning fights in Japan and arriving undefeated on its soil. From the opening bell, Inoue treated him like a problem to be solved. Hands low, eyes sharp, he dissected Tahini with cruel efficiency. Body shots piled up, each one stealing breath and resolve. By the 6th round, the damage was visible. Inoue's punches had begun to shut Tahini's body down. Early in the 7th, a vicious sequence to the midsection ended it. Tahini clutched his back, his leg useless, unable to continue. The referee stepped in. Technical knockout. Later reports suggested the body shots had caused serious structural damage. A reminder that Inoue's attacks don't just hurt, they break. Inoue looked almost dissatisfied afterward, as if the ending came too soon. That is what separates him from everyone else. He is not chasing survival or applause. He is chasing perfection.